Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hot Mess Podcast. I'm your host, John Fay, with co-hosts Allison Silibovsky and Jordan Ezel. We are a podcast by students for students. We are all students at Temple University in the communications field in one way or another. And every episode, we want to talk about things going on in the world, advice to students, graduate students, anybody who's really listening, who's in this field, or just a college student, and we want to give some advice to. And we've had a lot of stuff happen since the last episode, including the Super Bowl. We want to talk about some of the ads that happened because we're all very interested in advertising here. So I know, Jordan, you mentioned the Oatly one. You like that one?
Oh man.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is every single year I look way more forward to the advertisements than to the game itself.
Of course.
Like this is the day for advertisers and people in our profession. So the Wow No Cow commercial by Oatly had me cracking up. That one was so good. It was like, wow, no cow. That one was really funny.
I'm gonna be honest, okay, some people genuinely hated it.
I don't understand.
I didn't really have I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. I was just like, okay. That's kind of all right. But you know what I did love? Jordan, did you see the Oatly, what they sent out or put on their website right after they aired the commercial?
No.
It was hilarious. They made a shirt that says "I hated the Oatly Super Bowl commercial," and for the first 500 people, I think it was completely free. So they knew people were going to not like this commercial, and I just think that was genius. Good for them, just on the fact that they did that. I love.
Well, they spent $5.5 million for that commercial, so I'm sure that they did some research into it, but I loved it. It was definitely one of my favorites. I thought it was that's the type of humor that gets to me. So, I don't know. I thought that one was really funny. I'm surprised that people didn't like it.
I think that one was a lot of the you had to look into the targeted audience. I know okay, so for instance, my two roommates, one of them hated that commercial. The other one loved the commercial. But the one who did like the commercial, she fits into the targeted audience of who you would think would buy oat milk. Just picture someone who would buy oat milk in your head, and my roommate would fit into that. And I think a lot of the people who I realized who liked the commercial kind of fit in that market. So I think that's kind of where the love it or hate it comes.
Yeah.
If you fall into the target market or if you don't.
I also, so last semester, I in one of my classes, a group did an entire presentation on oat milk. So maybe my brain was just oh, that was, connected the two things and thought that it was even funnier because of that presentation. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was great.
There's one commercial that I actually thought went a little bit under the radar. Did you guys see the one for Dr. Squatch soap?
I think so.
Wait. What remind
me? You need to
they're a natural
give me some more
soap.
Detail.
They're a natural soap brand that I had heard of years ago. When they were a small startup. I think they're maybe based out of California or something like that. They just make natural body products for people, soap, shampoo, things like that. And I saw I had no clue that they got Super Bowl money, and I was just this is so crazy because they're this little operation that just started up a few years ago, and I remember hearing about them when they were brand new because I like all natural stuff, and I saw their commercial. I was like, what the heck? And it was funny, but it was Super Bowl funny. If you can look up their real commercials online that they put on YouTube and their social media accounts, and it is really just uncensored inappropriate humor, and it made me laugh just to see, because I was just they had to cut so much out of that commercial. I'm sure there's so much there's stuff I don't want to. I would highly suggest looking up Dr. Squatch soap commercials because they're just hilarious, and they kind of had to tone it down a little bit for the Super Bowl. So that was one that I thought was actually really funny, just because
You remember
I wasn't expecting
like the plot of that commercial? Like,
yeah, the one guy was in like like he had like the hair thing on, and the long hair guy with the beard was like saying all the benefits of using their soap and things like that. And it was like,
okay,
it's
okay,
like this is like a manly soap. It's for men who build things with their hands. And he was like throwing stuff all around.
you know what?
remember that one.
So my dad actually told me, he's like, wow, you're no fun to like talk about the commercials with anymore because you know, as like an advertiser does. But personally, because I now I remember what commercial that was. I was just like, why did they make that commercial? What I'm trying to say is it's such a weird time to have a commercial like that, to be
Yeah.
like manly, mans make things with their hands and build things, man. Like
Maybe playing devil's advocate here.
Mhm.
I mean, a huge part of the Super Bowl audience is male.
It's true.
So maybe they were trying to connect the dots there.
They're
And-
pretty
and
tongue in
like-
cheek about it. Like they're not like, I don't think they're seriously just like, we're made for men. Like they're doing that just to be like, you know, just to be
They're
stupid.
trying to be
Like,
funny.
it's like
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah,
It's like stupid humor. If you watch like the uncensored commercials, you can be like, oh, these guys are just being silly.
It reminds
they
me of the
point out
Dollar
things-
Shave Club.
Oh yeah.
No, I didn't see that one.
Well, I don't think they had an ad in the Super Bowl this
Oh,
year, but I'm
okay.
just saying, like, it reminds me
In general.
of like their
Yeah.
tactics.
It was like tongue in cheek, like machismo type stuff. Like they're trying to be like overly masculine to
Mhm.
be silly. Like I don't think that they're being serious at all. And that's kind of like their quirk is like there's a couple different companies online that have just like, they basically put like memers in charge of all their content creation, and these are one of the guys that like really does that well in my opinion. So it just kind of like took me aback. I was just like, I was not expecting these guys to have this little soap company to have a Super Bowl commercial.
Could you imagine getting paid to, like, every day you just did memes? Like, that's the dream job right there.
Okay, but isn't that like kind of what advertising is?
True.
I mean, a lot of times it's just memes that you're making.
But
Yep.
to be like under your email, it's just memer.
Yeah.
That as your LinkedIn title.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll be a legitimate
Professional
profession in a
memer.
few years.
I'm sure it will be. I mean, we have professional TikTokers now, so.
So another commercial that I thought was really good, and I think it was T-Mobile, and it was with Blake Shelton, Gwen Stefani, and Adam Levine, and it was like a phone call between Gwen and Adam, and she was like describing what her perfect guy was, but the connection kept cutting out. So she was like, "Oh, like I want somebody who, you know, I can travel the country with, and like is down to earth, blah blah blah." And whatever was cutting out, it was like making it sound like Blake Shelton, and like the whole setup there, that was really funny because they're
also
like
like
together.
break up too.
Did they break up?
Yeah, I think that's what like made it also funny because I think they broke up. So
What?
he was talking about how she doesn't want someone like Blake Shelton because they broke up.
I didn't know they broke up. I thought they were getting married. Oh my god.
I think they did break up.
Damn. I'm very
looking it up right now. Gwen Stefani.
I'm shook. I didn't think that because that's why I'm what?
Like I think that's what like made it more funny.
I thought it was funny because they were together. Man, I live under a rock sometimes. I find out about the
We're doing
juiciest
some
drama.
research live on the show right now.
I think they did break up. Yeah.
Oh my god.
What?
I'm so sorry, Jordan. You had to find out this way.
My day is ruined. I mean, damn, Blake Shelton cannot get like he can't catch a break. Like Miranda Lambert, and now
No, maybe he didn't.
I thought they were getting married.
Gwen Stefani.
Where you guys seeing that they broke up?
I don't know. I just remember hearing somewhere that they did.
I'm looking it up right now, but I think that was just a rumor going around.
I think maybe they were on a break. Maybe they took when they were on the show together, they took some time off.
You can check. Handy dandy.
She threatened to break up with Blake Shelton if he didn't fix up his Oklahoma ranch. Okay, that is an actual title of an article.
Oh goodness.
All right, rest assured, listeners, I think that they're okay.
Okay, yeah.
As far as I can see, they look fine.
Yeah, he still has her as his profile picture on Instagram.
Oh man, you guys just wanted to see that reaction out of me. That was it.
We talked about this on the show before. I'm a little older than you guys. I remember when Gwen Stefani was still the front woman of No Doubt. Did you guys ever
No
listen to
doubt,
that?
no doubt.
Yeah. So I remember her being the No Doubt girl. And then I remember she started doing solo music, and I wasn't like that big into it, but like I really like No Doubt. Like I grew up listening to it, and it was just like that girl is like a superstar now. It's just like it's crazy to like watch somebody like she was already kind of famous, and now she's like, she's the host of that show with Blake and Adam Levine, and I don't know. It's just weird like seeing her at like the superstar status that she's at now, in a good way.
There's a lot of people who have done that, who like went and were in groups and now have solo careers.
Yeah.
That's probably how they do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Not that, I mean, not to like downplay their talent, but.
Yeah.
Well, that's the easiest. I mean, not to bring One Direction into this, but
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
but Simon Cowell told all of them that like that you guys will never have a good solo career and everything. You guys will never make it like as solos. So they had to go into the group together. But now, I mean, look at Harry Styles. He's like,
they're all solo.
I mean,
Simon Cowell is also a curmudgeon-y old man. I don't really care about his opinion.
I think
he gave us Carrie Underwood and Kelly Clarkson. So
yeah.
Like
I think he used to have a good opinion, and now he's like Gordon Ramsay. He's just running off of I'm the mean man who says mean things.
I love Gordon Ramsay too.
Yeah.
There's such
Well, here's the thing. Gordon Ramsay actually seems like a good guy. I don't know about Simon Cowell. It's just like I don't take his opinions to heart anymore. Like the thing you said with One Direction. Like he was dead wrong about that.
I don't know though, because would they have been as strong if they weren't One Direction at first?
Because like Harry Styles, for instance, his voice really had to. I don't know if you've ever. There's this video of him like singing. I think it's maybe like a year or like only a few months apart, but it's like his voice is like high and then his voice drops, and it's like he had to go. A lot of them had to go through like the pure puberty phase in order to really gain their like singing voice. And would they have been as big if they didn't go through that puberty phase as
if they weren't the boy band?
Yeah, if they weren't, because they really had the boy band like look and
aesthetic. Yeah. I remember when they came to scene, it was like, move over, Justin Bieber. So new kids
Those
on
were
the
good
block.
old days.
I was never really a big One Direction fan.
You were?
It wasn't.
Oh, I was. Oh, I was a huge Directioner. I had all their posters. Okay, so I had J14 magazine. And if you guys know what that's a.
Oh yeah, I know J14.
I would rip out all of it because they had the posters in the magazines, and I put them all over my bedroom walls. So One Direction, my favorite Liam, he was all over.
Did you ever put any of those posters on your ceiling?
No.
It's okay if not. I did.
Good night, Harry.
I was like, yeah, it's like good night. Good night, Hunter Hayes. Good night, Scotty McCreery. Have a good God, so embarrassing.
All right. Oh, another commercial that I want your guys' opinion on. The Mountain Dew commercial with John Cena.
I don't know if I remember it.
She didn't see that one.
Oh my gosh.
I definitely saw it. I just have to like
very beginning. I was just like creeped out. Like he looks like he was on drugs. And he just looked crazy. The commercial was just like, it was so saturated with so much colors. I was just like, whoa. Like, what are they doing? I don't know.
I think occasionally there's commercials that they just don't do any filtering on. They're just like, put as much as we can in here, make it as crazy, and just like, I don't know. That's what the kids are looking for these days, I guess. Loud and colorful.
There weren't as many like heartstring commercials this time around, which I was kind of surprised about.
After the year we've had, I was expecting a lot more.
I was kind of there weren't that many like COVID commercials, and I was glad for that because I was like, okay, we all have been through this. We all
Yeah.
No one
know. No
I was
one wanted to hear about it.
like I did not trust modern day advertising to not put COVID stuff.
I was expecting it, and I
Yeah.
think there were maybe like a few, and I know that there were some like political statements, and I know like some of the commercials mentioned like the Black Lives Matter movement. But other than that, like there weren't really many like sentimental
Yeah.
ads.
Like and like those are always, at least from like my point of view, like I always love those where they're just like you can tell that there's such like artistic, like as an artistic idea,
They
and like,
thought
they
through
put
like the
thought they
Google commercial last year.
yes,
That one was good.
that was good. And like I always love those commercials, and they're always my favorite because it's so artistic. I love it. And that's what like I love about advertising. And this year it just not, it was a little disappointing.
Yeah, there was one that stuck out to me, and I don't remember exactly what company it was. It was about the girl for the Olympics.
Toyota.
Toyota. Okay, that one was really good.
That
I
one was,
really enjoyed that one.
yes.
The
That one was
paraplegic,
cool.
the paraplegic
Yeah.
athlete. Yeah, I saw that. That one was nice. I like that one. That was really good.
Yeah, and like they had the whole like adoption story into it, and they were like, "Yeah, this won't be hard or this won't be easy," and the mom said something like, "But it'll be worth it," or
No, it was, that was a good one.
that
I
one was
watched that and I was just like, don't cry.
good.
That one
It's like
got
if
to
I
me a
go
little bit. That was a very touching one. That was a very sentimental one. I was
yeah,
just like, that's
and
nice. That was a nice one.
I really like when commercials aren't like gung ho in your face about the brand or what they're
Yeah.
trying to sell. Like they were really more into the messaging of that than like I didn't even remember it was Toyota.
Yeah.
But I think then you get into the issue like with certain topics, people are just like, well, why is a car commercial kind of talking about, like I know if you guys remember the Jeep commercial that they played, it was talking about, it was like very politic based, that commercial.
Yeah.
And people were like, well, why is a car commercial marketing
Right.
this?
What do you guys have in this type of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. What do you guys, how do you guys feel about that?
I think that personally, I think it's taking advantage of a very sensitive subject. I mean, we just went through everything with the election, which I mean, we can do a whole show on that, and we kind of already have. But we're in a very contentious time right now, and I think that personally, I don't know why a Jeep commercial is taking advantage of that. If it was maybe a trying to phrase this the right way. If it was an organization for like civil liberties or something like that, I can understand that. But why is a Jeep commercial doing this? I think that they're really taking advantage of something that everybody's still a little heated, not a little, still very heated about.
I think it's all about the way that they message it because at the end of the day, like as a consumer, my biggest thing about a brand is I want to be part of a brand or subjected to a brand that has the same values that I do and cares about the same thing. So, when a company will post about like the Black Lives Matter movement on their social media or like that speaks volumes to me. So I'm all about the brands that take the important things that need to be said and will address those, but it really depends on like how it's done. And I think that's the most important thing because if you're just doing it for the clout and like just doing it because we care, but you don't actually like, did you donate?
Yeah.
You like, what are you doing towards this movement other than just putting it in your ad type of thing?
Yeah.
Like I think this year especially, I don't know if we talked about it in our last episode, I can't really remember, but the whole thing where like Budweiser and Coca-Cola and Pepsi, for the most part, they weren't going to put a Super Bowl ad this year, and they were just donating all the money instead. I think that spoke such volumes. And I mean, Pepsi still had the halftime show, so like,
right.
But they didn't do any other advertising. Budweiser, the only thing they did was Anheuser-Busch. They had their commercial, which I really loved that commercial. I thought like it was so good. It was just like showing all the beers.
Yeah, like Budweiser doing that this year was a flex because in the past, I mean, Budweiser has had multiple commercials that have been, like not, will be top 10 of all Super Bowl commercials even to this day. So the fact that
is that company you work for in the commercial.
Like they are the company to have in the Super Bowl. So the fact that they took $5.5 million and donated it was awesome. Like that's cool. That's so cool. To me, that was really cool.
I'm taking a total guess right here, but just based off of the commercial that I saw this year, I think a lot of the advertisers who made these commercials, and there was a lot of really good ones this year. I think that they are, they're people like us, and they're just burnt out from talking about politics, about all the divisiveness in this country. And with the year we just had, I liked the fact that we had non-political commercials for the most part. I mean, there was what, maybe two.
Yeah,
but it was nice just being like, okay, we just got off of a bad year. Everybody's aware of everything going on right now. We don't need it to be repeated over and over and over again on this day that is typically always a fun day. And I think of like the last Super Bowl. I mean, there's a lot of things I didn't like about this last Super Bowl, but that, to me, I think of that as being like right before everything started going downhill last year.
Right.
So it was nice to not have everything just being like, hey, remember how horrible the last year was? It was like, no, I know. You don't need to remind me. It was nice seeing some silly commercials with Oatly and all these other ones, including another one I'll get to in a moment. But I think that all the advertisers collectively read the room very well this year. They're just like, we could definitely make this like a lot of really sad commercials about how horrible 2020 was. Let's not. Let's let the people just enjoy this one day of, we're almost a year into COVID at this point, and I mean, or at least of the quarantine starting. And it was just nice to kind of have a little break from everything.
I mean, I remember when all of this, like when we were in the height of everything, so March, April, May, when all of the companies were coming out with those COVID ads. And at first I was like inspired by them. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I'm really glad that they're promoting wearing a mask and staying indoors and blah, 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 this and that. But after a while, it just got depressing. I would go to just watch TV just to like finally not look at my computer screen for a little bit, or just try to, I don't know, shut the world out for 2 seconds. And I was constantly reminded of it with these ads. So I feel like a lot of people felt that way too. So I'm really glad that the Super Bowl was just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Chill.
Yeah. But I do think sometimes, like, not saying they could have made better ads, because I did think there were some good ones, but the funniness needed. Did you guys realize that there were no talking animals this year?
Yes, I was very surprised by that. And like, I don't really remember a lot of insurance commercials. Like, where was Geico?
Where was Flo? Where was Progressive? Like, there was only State Farm. Allstate?
I think
was Allstate.
Wait, Allstate wasn't in there, but State Farm, I remember.
State Farm was, because Drake. Yeah. It was the Drake commercial.
The Drake commercial, yeah.
But yeah, where was all the insurance companies? Where was my girl? Where's my homegirl Flo?
She's been on Zoom calls. Like, she's been in those ads, but
yeah.
It's interesting.
It was nice to get some silly ones this year, including the Wayne's World one. That one made me laugh really hard.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Even though, I don't know, to me the humor was kind of lacking in it, but it was like a throwback to me. I grew up watching Wayne's World. I love that movie. I even like the second one, and it was just like so weird seeing Mike Myers and Dana Carvey in the same exact outfits from the movie that they were in like their 20s, I think, and now they're like late 50s, early 60s. I don't know how old they are, but I mean they're much older now. And it's
Is
just
that the Paramount Plus ad?
No,
that was Uber Eats.
Paramount Plus is another one we have to talk about after.
With the cameo from Cardi B.
Oh yes. Okay.
For the young audience, we gotta meld them together.
They were like, wait, who's that? But wait, I know Cardi.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's actually funny. I don't really know who Wayne's World is, and like, I'm sorry, I don't.
Oh no, you have to watch Wayne's World. It's such a funny movie. It was a sketch on SNL in like the late 80s, early 90s that Mike Myers and Dana Carvey, when they were cast members on there, they were like these like basically like burnt out metalhead rock guys, and they had a public access show in their in their parents' basement or something like that, and they were just like these loud, obnoxious, like, "Party on, Wayne, yeah, party on, Garth," and they just like, dude, totally, man, like they were like the burnt out metalheads, and then they made a whole movie out of it, which I found pretty funny. I might have to rewatch it and be like, yeah, it was all right, but it was funny to see because that was like, to me at least, that was like a childhood movie. Like I saw that a bunch of times, and that movie came out like 91. So there's a whole old fan base of like people who love that movie, or just the old SNL sketches. So it was funny seeing that with the combination of Cardi B, who's new, she's a newer music star.
Right. That is funny.
I really
gotta apply to both.
Yeah.
I like the commercial because, like I said, I didn't know Wayne's World, but it had such a crazy and like all over the place type vibe to the commercial that I just thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
Like, why are they like sitting like on a couch that looks like in a room that looks kind of like older with like saying Wayne's World? Like I had no idea what Wayne's World is. I was just like, what is going on? But I had no
I'm
idea.
sure they knew that there would be a huge population of the people to watch, and they're like, what is going on? Who is Wayne?
But like,
What
I
is
thought that was
this?
so funny.
What is his world?
Because
Yeah,
I
who
thought
are
it
these
was
people?
something like weird, like just
Yeah.
really, really weird and random.
Yeah.
So it was the chaos of it. That's what I'm trying to say. The chaos I really thought was funny.
Yeah, that was Wayne's World whole thing. They were just like chaotic. They were just going from like one thing to another. There was a very loose plot going on. It was just like joke after joke, but it worked really well at the time. And the commercial was kind of playing off this part of the movie where without giving anything away, in the movie they're offered to make their public access show like a big time television show, and they're slowly realizing like, oh, they're making like a bunch of different changes to this. We don't really like this. And the one of the kind of bad guy of the movie is just like, well, you guys are in a contract, and they're like, well, contract or not, I don't think that we have to like bow down to our corporate masters. And as they're saying that, they're like holding like a Pizza Hut box and going like, we don't have to bow to our corporate masters, like holding it like,
right.
And that was part of the joke. They were just like, yeah, we would never try to appeal to our young audience, right, Cardi B?
Oh,
Cardi B, yeah. So that was a play off of like one of the jokes from the movie, and I was just like, this is hilarious.
Right.
That's funny.
These
from a movie that's older than me, and it was just like they brought that back, like, and they did it seamlessly. Like it was. If you've seen the movie, I watched the movie and then watched the commercial, and you'll see like how, to me, like how ingenious that was.
Right. These ads had a lot of celebrities. A lot.
It was like,
and I'm kind of curious as to why. I mean, like I usually like they'll have celebrities in a bunch of them, but I felt like it was pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was because it was like almost every ad had a different celebrity.
Right. And I mean, I know celebrity endorsements is a big thing, but I guess maybe like it was just easier to get celebrities, and maybe they weren't like with COVID restrictions and everything. Maybe it just wasn't as easy to do other things with ads that they might have, have done in the past. I don't know.
Did you guys watch the Paramount commercial where they
Which
ended
one?
The one for their streaming service with all the different stars of the shows, and they
The
start
like
dancing on the mountaintop
the 3
through
days.
SpongeBob.
I
And do
did
you
see
guys
that.
remember?
They had like four different commercials.
Do you guys remember a few years ago they wanted to get? It was like a stupid petition that somebody put out. They wanted. There's an old episode of SpongeBob from like when I was little, when SpongeBob was still good, and and they had a whole episode where they played the Bubble Bowl, and they played like this like 80s rock song and just like rocked the entire crowd, and they played that briefly in the commercial. There was a petition going out a few years ago where they wanted that to be the Super Bowl show.
Yes,
And this is the second time they have teased it, because they had Travis Scott play a few years ago, and he had an interlude of SpongeBob kind of for like 5 seconds. Everybody's like, what's this? Come on, like we want SpongeBob.
People were comparing this year the Weeknd's performance to that SpongeBob episode with just like what they were wearing and everything.
Yeah, it was similar. Yeah, I can see that.
I think that the Weeknd's performance wasn't exactly related to the SpongeBob reference, but apparently it was like all tied to him, like his plastic surgery, and like that was like the whole messaging behind it. And I was like, oh, I cannot believe he spent $7 million of his own dollars for that.
But like he kind of did it. I mean, the halftime show was obviously different than most other years. You didn't have like this big extravagant thing like you know, people
Everybody on the fields.
exactly, yeah, but for making it really focus at the people at home rather than the people in the stadium, I thought he did a phenomenal job.
He did. He did. It was a good halftime show. I
And I
agree.
think whether you like The Weeknd or not, whether you liked the show or not, you have to applaud him for making it so making the viewers at home, because like if everything happening, most of us were at home, like just feel good through it. I think you just have to applaud him for that, no matter what.
Yeah, and like his connection with the camera, that was really funny, and all the memes that came out of it.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
hilarious. I was
That's really
watching
funny.
that scene in the lit up tunnel and I was like, people are going to do something with this very soon. And like 5 minutes later, I saw something online. I was like, oh my God, these people are relentless.
They are quick.
So
They're on it.
Oh,
I
professionally
really was thrown off by how many people didn't like his performance. I liked The Weeknd a lot. And I thought that
Yeah.
personally, that was one of my favorite Super Bowl commercials of the last couple years. I'm sorry, halftime
I know.
shows. And I was blown away. He's a phenomenal singer. He has very little effects on his voice, like that's his actual voice. And I really like when a singer can actually sing and not rely on special effects.
Right, and you knew pretty much all the songs.
Yeah, I knew. No, I knew all the songs. I've been listening to The
Mhm.
Weeknd like right around the time he started getting big. So like 2000, I don't know, 2013, 14. I've been listening to him. I've liked him for a really long time, and I was just the next day I saw all these people like poo-pooing his performance, and I was just like, what's going on? This was a great performance. Like I felt so disconnected to like the modern audience. I thought people were going to be blown away by that. I honestly wasn't expecting a lot from the performance. I thought they might have done what some of the talk shows are doing where they like pre-recorded it. And I was just like, all right, here we go, a pre-recorded show. And he put on this amazing thing. And I was the next day, so many people were just like, oh, it was garbage. And I was like, what are you talking about? That was me personally. I thought it was great. So it was weird seeing a
Haters
lot
are
of
gonna
people
hate.
disagree. Yeah.
Everyone always has an opinion.
A lot of people who didn't like it were expecting the big extravagant shows like they're used to.
But
Yeah.
they couldn't do that this year.
Like, not to throw my father under the bus, but I was talking to my dad about it, and he was like, it was a trash halftime show. I did not like it. But I was like, well, what don't you like about it? And he said, well, comparing it to every other halftime show. I was like, Dad, we're not in a normal time. Obviously, it wasn't like the other ones.
Right.
I think
No one is J-Lo.
no one's gonna be shaking their booty like J-Lo and Shakira.
Right.
That's
what
it
was missing.
last year's performance.
Booty
I'm sorry.
shakes.
I did not like it at all.
It was an interesting one. That's for sure.
They started doing that and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go get snacks. I'm done. Totally blanked on what I was going to say. It was, I think he was limited with what he could do, and he blew it out of the water. Like he did much more than I was not expecting that halftime show at all. I thought it was going to be like this kind of half-assed, whatever, like pre-put together thing, and I watched what it was, and you're speaking about your dad. My dad hated it. that's the older generation being like, I think my dad still thinks back to like when the Stones did it, like I don't know what, like mid 2000s, whenever they did that, and he still wants that. And it's like, there's new artists, Dad.
Yeah.
That also goes into like, do you satisfy the older generation or the younger generation?
Yeah.
Like,
you can only put in the old guys so much. Like, do you guys remember a few years ago Bruno Mars? When he did his,
you can't forget Bruno Mars.
I liked his show a lot, but he put in one of my favorite bands, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they played like 2 or 3 songs. And then the next day, people got mad because they were like, they weren't playing with their actual instruments. Like their stuff wasn't plugged in. The band was like, yeah, it's the Super Bowl. They don't want us to make mistakes. Like that's how it works. And I'm still conflicted on how I feel about that because they're all very talented musicians. And I was just like,
I was surprised that it was just The Weeknd and that there wasn't anyone else. But again, COVID, I understand. But like, I kind of got teased. They were, Ariana Grande might come.
Oh, that would have been good.
That would have been so good.
I heard someone say, I forgot who I was talking to, but someone was like, he doesn't owe it to anyone. Like, he doesn't have to. It's his time to shine. He doesn't have to bring anyone out on stage. But it's like, typically.
No, Ariana could have been cool.
I mean, Ariana Grande, like that's cool. But like I get that like it is his time, but yeah, I
True.
was very surprised he didn't bring anyone out on stage.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
why he spent all that extra money.
Because he didn't have to pay anyone to come on stage. Okay, but
Yeah, because he was like, "This is my show." So,
yeah.
you guys want to talk
Seven
about
Next.
TikTok?
Yes.
Transition.
All right.
to TikTok.
Disclaimer.
Transition.
Anyone that knows me knows that I have been talking some bad on TikTok for quite some time, just because of the fact that I was a Viner. I loved Vine, and the fact that Vine didn't get its proper burial, and that TikTok just kind of came out of the shadows and was, in my mind, was taking over credit from TikTok, from Vine. I couldn't get over it for a while, but I'm here to say I am now on TikTok. It's a pretty big deal. Don't hate me. I recognized my hypocrisy, but here we are.
Welcome to the TikTok world, Jordan. Welcome.
Thank you. My 2 a.m. nights, the reason that I didn't want to download it was because I thought all of my extra time was going to be spent on TikTok, and it has been.
Yeah, it will.
There's some quality stuff on there.
What sides of TikTok are you on?
So I think I'm on like millennial TikTok, and I'm on the cusp of Gen Z and millennial, but I kind of like it because, John, you're probably gonna laugh at me for this because you're like 27 and I'm 23. But it's all of these people on TikTok are like, oh well, how are the 25-year-olds doing? I was like, oh god, like you stop aging me. I'm on millennial TikTok. I'm on new girl TikTok.
Oh, that's a good TikTok to be on.
It is.
I don't know anything about TikTok, so I'm learning as you guys are talking. I didn't even know there was different versions of it.
It like takes your algorithm and things that you like, and it'll give you, and that's how it makes your stream.
Yeah.
Stream.
John, you have almost 30 TikTok. Thanks, TikTok. That made me feel good.
Yeah, John, if you would definitely be on millennial TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm horrible with when like the year. I was actually just talking about this with my girlfriend. I don't know when like. Yeah, wait, what am I? Yeah, I'm millennial. I think I'm like the last of the millennials, if I'm not mistaken. Does a millennial end in 95?
I think it is, and I'm 97. So like I'm literally right on. I'm in that weird space where I'm like a Gen millennial.
Yeah, because my girlfriend was born in 96, so I think she's technically a Gen Z.
Yeah, like we're technically Gen Zs, but I don't really like. I'm not part of the generation that eats Tide Pods. Sorry, Allison, but
like, okay, I've never eaten a Tide Pod, but like, not saying I can relate to them, but like, have you seen a Tide Pod? Like, also, I kind of relate to them just a tad bit. Ooh, I don't like that. I don't want to relate to Gen Z.
I found out that you guys know like the laughing emoji.
You can't. I found that out too. And the side
apparently it's okay. The side part
what?
thing. All right, well, one at a time. First off, apparently the laughing emoji is no longer cool.
You outdate. I use it so much, and it's so bad.
I use it. It's my most common emoji. And then skinny jeans are now out.
I love skinny jeans.
First, you ain't taking away my skinny jeans.
I finally found skinny jeans that fit me as a short person. Finally, it's years.
Wait, where?
Okay, I go to Aeropostale.
Okay.
If you go there, they have fantastic short people skinny jeans.
All right, like short people, like 4'11".
I mean, I'm 5'1" and they fit me.
Okay.
So
do you have to roll them up?
No, I don't.
Wow, that's a flex.
I genuinely, it took time, but I found it.
Okay.
This might be more of a guy thing, but I discovered Athletic Fit a few years ago, and I had been wearing predominantly skinny before that, and the Athletic Fit is so comfortable. So I don't know if girls have a version of that, but if you do, it's very comfortable.
Maybe we do. I don't know.
It's like tighter up top, and it gets a little looser on the bottom.
Interesting.
Oh, yes. So kind of like bell bottoms, not really bell bottoms.
Not really bell bottoms. Like you guys have seen, like when we worked together in person, I wore them like a lot of the time when I was wearing jeans. So it's like it's a little more
like typical jeans.
Yeah.
But
I've transitioned from skinny jeans is what I'm trying to say. I've evolved.
Maybe you are. Maybe you have like 1% into Gen Z.
Yeah. I feel
Sure.
like a boomer right now, honestly.
Boomer.
I'm like, what are these kids talking about?
Yeah, my mind was blown when they were like, "Oh yeah, middle parts only. Get rid of them skinny jeans." The laughing emojis out. I was like, "Hold up, hold up."
Like
Stop,
when
chill.
okay, if I can't wear skinny jeans now, what shoes do I wear? Like I need someone to help me with this because like in the
I'm
winter,
not listening to it. Clearly.
like I wear my skinny jeans pretty much every day, but like with my
Yeah.
boots, how am I supposed to put non-skinny jeans in my snow boots?
You can't. It's not possible.
You're gonna get snow up your jeans. I don't get it.
I understand that each generation has their own trend, but like technically I am part of Gen Z, but I'm not applying to any of these new rules. I will be out of trend. And that's okay with me.
I'm okay with not being fashionable. I don't need
Yep.
to be fashionable.
This is my grandma's sweater. Like,
and it is a fabulous sweater.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sometimes I don't care how things trend. I mean, some things to me are like timeless. Like I love wearing flannels when it's the right time of the year. I like wearing
not just on Fridays.
I dress like a stereotypical hipster half the time. So that's how I like to dress. So I don't care how other people are dressing.
Yeah, we don't need to listen to these kids.
Yeah. I found my look and I like it.
Right. We can age ourselves all we want. That's fine.
Yeah.
Who are they telling me how to part my hair? I just like was so mind blown when I first went on TikTok. I was like, wait a second, hold up. I didn't even. But also at the same time, one of the reasons I got it was because I feel like in our industry, we need to say kind of relevant or at least know what's relevant and trending. Man, was I in a culture shock.
I, as more of a journalism person, I was saying this before the show, I just made a Twitter last year. I had not been on Twitter at all. And I get
superior
with journalism students and actual journalists, because it's like a lot of the time the news gets there before it gets to the actual news station. So it's been a huge asset to me, and especially like making connections and things like that. I do like some of like the video ones, like I have Instagram, as you guys know, and I'm pretty active on there. So I like that. I like the artistic aspect of it, but Twitter to me, it's like it's good to get like messages across pretty well. And I know people have different opinions on that. To me, I think it's still really relevant to how people are interacting today.
Twitter is hilarious.
It is so funny.
The content that people come up with on there is just unlike anything I've ever seen. Twitter, people go off, like Bachelor Twitter. My favorite night to be on Twitter is on Mondays. The content that people and the memes that people like and the jokes that they come up with, just genius. Even if you don't tweet, it's just fun to watch. Even like when all the political stuff was going down and like when COVID first hit, like I feel like our generations really try to make jokes out of things and make things kind of lighthearted. And Twitter,
we go through humor. So Twitter, I feel like it's more of just like a brain dump for everything.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever you're thinking, don't think through it. Just put it on Twitter. It could be that weird 2 a.m. thought, but someone will find it funny.
I always think of Twitter. Twitter always makes me think of the Spider-Man movie where Uncle Ben is like, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Because you can make a career out of that, and you can lose a career out of that depending on what you write. We
all know.
That's all social media, and that is something we will get into next show. But yeah,
you can also become a huge celebrity for being a jerk on there, and then you can also incite riots on it while being the president. So it has
it's a powerful
when Twitter was just like people were just writing stupid stuff on there, and now like we just got out of a presidency of a man who like he wrote I mean, there's so much stuff that he did on there. It's like I don't even know where to start.
I know. I gotta admit though, when I tweet something and it gets a lot of likes, my ego is boosted at least for a few days. I feel so proud of myself.
Yeah.
I think that's most people. Like I've talked to so many of my friends and they're like when like you know how like Wendy's, first of all, Wendy's, there's social media team on Twitter. I love it. Like
it's like superior.
Because okay, when you look at the brand, it's such like a family friendly fast food place. So there's such fire
Fire. Their
Yeah.
tweets are fire.
But yeah, just how they interact with people.
Are they the ones that were like making fun of like Burger King and McDonald's, and they were like starting like wars on
Yes.
there with them?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
so funny. It different social media platform, but even I find their food products disgusting. And I don't consume any of their stuff. But Slim Jim has the funniest Instagram. Oh, oh my God! They literally like hide like the number 69 in all of their posts, and they make things like 420. It's like they literally like gave it over to a 13-year-old who knows how to edit photos. It is the funniest thing I have ever seen. If you're on Instagram, follow Slim Jim. Like I laugh out loud every time I see something. I literally LOL every time I see something from them. I'm sure they're on Twitter, but their Instagram is so funny. It's so ridiculous and just nonsensical, and it's just like, you guys make meat sticks, like gross meat sticks. Like
you gotta keep it somehow. Their content going.
I'm sure. I think the majority of the people following them don't even eat their stuff because they're just like, that's gross. But
I just went on their page, and it's literally just like, it's a meme page.
That's
like,
amazing.
They just post different memes. Like, you guys,
professional memer.
I'm able to see it, but like, oh wait, just like the look of it, it's very like
it's a straight up meme page, but that's the official Slim Jim Instagram page.
That's awesome.
It's so funny. Like they're one of my favorite pages, and I don't even consume their products because it's disgusting.
But like, okay, it is disgusting, and I will say that. But sometimes a good Slim Jim hits like it's good.
Two for $1, like that's a deal.
I haven't eaten Slim Jim in years.
You need food. I don't know what you're putting in your body at that point, but like sometimes a good meat stick is good.
Quote of the show: sometimes a good meat stick. Oh man.
So we were talking before the show, Jordan, I'm just double checking, you're the only one that had experience with Vine, right?
I can't believe you guys didn't have experience with Vine. I'm genuinely so sorry for you. Vine holds a special place in my life. Like that moment, the years that Vine, it was like probably 2013, maybe 2015, really when I was like near the end of high school. It was amazing. The content that came out for Vine, you just get, it's great. And the fact that you guys didn't get to experience that, I'm truly sorry for you. Like good news though, YouTube, you can go to like Vine compilations and get all that content. It's still around.
Yeah, I've seen the Vine videos. I was just never on there. I never used them at all when they were around.
They're so good.
I probably use it a little bit, but it's not enough that like I can recognize a lot of things. Like I can't
quote them on the daily. Like I quote so many Vines all the time.
So I don't know enough about what happened with them. Why did they go out of business? Because it seemed like they were super popular. Like I don't understand why they would have gone away.
The science behind Vine, if anyone would be interested in this, is usually people's attention spans are around 6 seconds. Like keeping someone's attention is usually around 6 seconds. So Vines were usually around like 6 seconds. And then they got like super popular. People were on Vine all of the time. And then I think something happened to where either like it wasn't renewed, or like the company like shut down, or like Vine started to lose, they just started to become like longer, and people like they just weren't as funny, I guess, as when it first kind of came out and when it was in its prime. But oh man, quality stuff.
Like the actual company turned into Vine. I mean, Vine.
I don't know.
TikTok.
Maybe, but if it like TikTok and Vine have like they were definitely very different, and I think that TikTok blew up a lot because of the pandemic, because people like didn't really have
Musically. I'm thinking of.
Oh, Musically, yeah. I think it went from like Vine, Musically, and then TikTok. So I feel like TikTok is like a mix of Vine and Musically, but TikTok definitely exploded at a good time. Like they came out at a good time.
Oh yeah, because our generation, like, what would we have done being in quarantine without TikTok? I can't imagine.
Like, I did Paint by Numbers.
I
I
used
built
to,
some stuff for our apartment.
like in the prime, like the very beginning of quarantine, I would get dressed in the morning solely to make a TikTok. Like, I don't care how bad that sounds, but like
No.
no other reason to get out of my pajamas other than to make a TikTok.
Hey, that's like I'm telling you, it came at a good time. I'm not a TikTok hater anymore. And I was never against anyone who used TikTok. I was just personally against it because Vine didn't get a proper burial.
Okay.
I was salty.
But I respect that. Like, I respect why, and I understand why.
I was loyal. I was loyal and I
You're a
was
loyal
salty.
Viner.
I still am. Nothing like a good you got I if you guys haven't seen the peanut butter baby Vine, and that I'm sending it to you.
Okay.
It'll change your life. It's this
Oh, is that
little baby.
the baby that's totally covered in peanut butter? It's like, ah. I've seen
Yes.
that.
That's my favorite video on the internet to ever exist, and I have a shirt with his face on it.
Wait, Allison, have you seen this?
No.
Oh,
my
my God,
God.
it's so funny.
Oh,
This is
oh, it's
weird.
he's like covered in peanut butter, like his sister covered him in peanut butter, and his mom goes, "Does it feel good?" And he goes, "Ah." Oh, I'll have to
Yeah,
send it to you.
he looks at her like his one eye is like still
It's,
covered in
like,
peanut butter. He
gooped
has
down.
peanut butter like literally all over his face, and you could just see his one eye, and he's just go, ah.
My, it's my favorite thing, and I will recreate it if I ever have a child. That is a promise.
Oh my God.
Well, I guess
Gonna
as
be
long as
holding a
there's no
camera
peanut
and a thing
butter.
of Jeff, like, come here.
Yeah, I know. It's time. Oh man. Oh yeah, that one's quality. Quality. Uh,
Uh,
Wow.
all right.
so
So,
Chinese New Year.
yes, you're the ox. Transition.
Happy Chinese New Year, everyone.
Happy Chinese New Year.
Sorry, I'm still thinking about the
Dude. The peanut butter baby Vine oh man, lives
Year of
rent
the
free
peanut
in my
butter
head.
baby.
I I wonder where that
I
kid
wonder
is
what
up
that
to
kid's
now.
doing now, because he's probably he's got to be a few years old at this point.
Oh, I'm sure you could
Yeah.
find it online. Like,
Probably being bullied ruthlessly. Like, there's the peanut butter baby. Kids are
he's
throwing
probably in like
peanut butter
first
at
or
him.
second
The
grade.
kid's probably like 10 years old now. Maybe
That's so crazy.
maybe
Is
younger.
it that old?
Well, I feel like that video was done before Vine and it just was like uploaded onto Vine.
Oh yeah. Okay. I didn't think about that.
Oh man.
Year of the ox.
Yep, Pops.
All right.
Chinese New Year.
So happy Chinese New Year, everyone. It is the Lunar New Year. So it is the year of the ox. And just wanted to also mention happy Chinese New Year to everyone
Happy
who is
Chinese New Year.
celebrating.
Chinese New
And
Year.
something cool that I found out about. So the ox represents movement, and it kind of is representing like we're moving from like the old year, like the 20, what everything that happened last year in 2020, and we're kind of moving into this new and just a different time. So that was just something cool that I read about like what the ox represents, because it's like we're going to move now into a different time where it'll be better and like things will go over better and have
I
some
love that energy.
yes. So
I'm here for it.
happy Lunar New Year. Hope everyone is celebrating having a happy, healthy, and safe New Year.
Mhm.
Yes. Good things to come.
Yes.
Good things to come. Little side story. Just you guys might find this interesting. Our audience might find this interesting. I have a slight connection to Chinese culture in my family. My father's mother, so my grandmother on my father's side, she was born to German parents. Her father was Germany's ambassador to China. So she was born in Shanghai, China, and lived there, I think, until she was about 12 or 13.
Oh,
So
wow.
if people have been to my house, we have Chinese stuff all over the house. And people are like, are you? No, I was like, no, I have to explain that story to them. So I've been around Chinese stuff my entire life just because of that, because she grew up there most of her childhood. So I'm always interested in reading about stuff like this. Like, I always feel kind of bad that, like, like a certain New Year will come around for like Chinese New Year's, and I'm just like, I don't know what that animal represents. Like, I have to look more into that. So it's not really my cultural background, but it kind of is for that reason. So I've always had like a soft spot for Chinese stuff for that reason. So fun fact. Yeah. Yep. She's unfortunately no longer with us, but we have a lot of her stuff in the house. So it's, it's always cool to, we have, and she lived in Germany after that because her German parents, and we have like German. I'll before the show's over, I'll actually bring it up. We have it's Chinese poetry translated into German.
Oh, that's cool.
And it kind of sums up my family history pretty well. It's really cool. I'll show it to you guys at some point. But yep.
Yeah.
I think it's really important for people, even if, I think a lot of people just focus on like the culture that they're immediately around, but I think to get a more worldly view of the world. That was a bad way of phrasing it, but looking at other cultures, I mean, it's always very interesting, especially the Chinese culture, just because they've been around for so long. So yeah,
I've always loved celebrating things that like my friends celebrate. Like I mean, as you guys know, like I don't celebrate Christmas, but like I've always celebrated Christmas, whether like it's at like this year or these past years with my roommates or like with one of my best friends at home. I've always went over for Christmas. And I love when people share like my Jewish holidays, and I love learning about other things. So I think it's just so interesting, and people should, share your culture with everyone. Share your holidays and your traditions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Try some new foods. Have a potluck with different cultures there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to get out of your everyday focused life and just try other things and be exposed and open to other cultures. So I'm really glad we brought up Chinese New Year on the show today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's important to be very worldly. I think it is a very American thing where people just focus on American culture, which is great and very interesting. And there's a rich history in this country, and it's important to look at every aspect of that history. But there's a whole world outside of the United States. Like I want to visit most of Europe. My thing that I promised to myself is to learn a little bit of the language of that country, so that I don't go there and I'm like a typical American who's just like, they don't know any of the language. They showed up and like I know in certain European countries, there's just like, oh my God, the Americans, like go there and be able to like have a conversation with them and they'll be like, oh, okay, he's not that bad. Mm-hmm. Don't be like a typical tourist is what I'm trying to say. Like I'd like to visit Germany in a few years, and I just, speaking of apps, just got Duolingo on my phone. That is addictive. Get Duolingo and get Duolingo Plus, which you have to pay a little bit every month. I've been doing it. I'm on a 30-day streak right now. So
nice.
Yeah, every day I'm doing a little bit of German. I think it's really important to learn more language. Over in Europe, people know multiple languages. Here, it's not a very common thing. There's like a lot of people I know who just know English, and a lot of people I know who are bilingual. A lot of them are Hispanic people who they grew up with relatives, their parents or their grandparents who spoke Spanish. So it was kind of grandfathered into them. So it just came naturally to them. I think it's a shame that not enough people, expands their view of the world by expanding the languages. So a little tangent, but yeah.
Yeah.
And we wanted to talk about us being students. I think you said it was the 4th week of the semester, right?
Yes, we just finished the 4th week, right? But yeah, are we going in the 5th week?
Yeah. Honestly, my brain has just been so scattered this week. A reason that I wanted to bring this up on the show today is I feel like every semester gets real hectic, or things just start to go really crazy around the 4th week. And I know before we started the show, like we were all kind of in agreement that this week has just been kind of more difficult than others. So we just wanted to talk to our viewers and our listeners and kind of give advice on how we're just kind of getting through just the start of when the semester really starts to get kind of crazy. So something I did this week is I have like 5 things due all at one point, and they're all like bigger projects. And on top of work, it can be a little bit crazy, but I just decided after class one day, I was planning on just doing some homework and getting a head start, but I was mentally, physically just drained. So I just grabbed some ice cream, watched a show, and just gave myself that time. And I think that it was really like being kind to yourself first is really important.
And I think you need that, like, even if you need, like, okay, if it's late at night and you have so much work to do, but you physically are like, you cannot stay up longer. You are like getting physically sick, which I know can happen sometimes. You need to just treat yourself and go to bed. Like, if it's like 3 a.m., like it will get done eventually. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Make sure you're not torturing yourself through the process, and get sleep, eat food, eat nutritious food, which like I know we can all fall into uh like just not eating nutritious food and not drinking enough water, just living off caffeine or like 3 potato chips because you don't have, enough time to eat anything. But
make the try, even if it's like tough. Something that Tori and I, my roommate and I've been doing this week is we've been making crock pot meals. So it's super easy. It pretty much just cooks itself. And like by the time we'll have leftovers and like food for tomorrow too. So trying to plan that out really helps. And what you're saying, Allison, I completely agree. Like it'll get done. It always does. At least for me, I always get my assignments done, and just stressing out about getting it done doesn't help.
I read something that I thought was actually I thought it was really interesting. It was like, if you stress out about an assignment, you're putting yourself through that assignment, or you're putting yourself through that thing twice. You're
I read that too.
It's the torture of the stress out pre and then during it. So instead of like really, stressing out about what's going to happen beforehand, try to like take a deep breath and realize it's going to be okay. You're going to get through it.
Take it one by one assignment at a time. And something that has always made me feel really good is making a checklist and being able to check that assignment off. Oh, like, yeah, that's a good feeling.
I have the notes, like the sticky note app on my computer, because I don't like using like an old-fashioned notebook for like an agenda book. So I use the sticky note app. So when I can just like highlight it and just delete it off that note, like right now I've done pretty much all my assignments for the week. So I have like a clear sticky note, and it feels
That's beautiful.
Like, because when you have so much, it gets overwhelming.
I'm a person, if I don't have a daily planner, I get so disorganized so quickly. Like I have to have stuff to check off. Like you said, when you check that off, you feel good. Like it's like I've done things occasionally just so I check it off, and it's just like, all right. But then you have to think like, well, I'm getting a lot more stuff done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
The
tassel's worth the hassle. Just keep reminding yourself that like the end is near. That kind of sounded worse than I meant it to, but like like
the end is nigh.
The end is it's coming. Like it'll be worth it. The time that we're spending, and like the assignments that we're doing and all the stress and everything. That we're doing it for a reason, and I think reminding ourselves that too is important.
Reminding yourself of your end goal, like whether that be to get your diploma or to get a dream job you may want, or just a job in general. Like remembering that end goal is always like really important, and that's what can get you through, especially like this part of the semester when things are really picking up. Because I think midterms are also soon. Is that true?
Yeah.
What did I learn?
Zoom University. We're all great. We're doing well.
We're doing great, and everyone will do
It's
great.
fine. Everything's fine.
I said this on a previous show, like once you have that diploma, which I've been referring to as that piece of paper, once you have that piece of paper, that'll open up like 1,000 doors for you. So think of it that way. Like that piece of paper proves that you did 4 years of education. You know what you're talking about when you go to apply to a job, as opposed to somebody who doesn't have it, which, not everybody's meant to go to college, but if you have it, it is definitely an advantage in the society that we live in today. So I think always think of it that way. Like you'll have so many opportunities. Like I'm graduating in a few months, and it's like, I'm still like, that's what's driving me. I'm just like, I'm at the finish line. I can see the finish line. Like I never, like years ago, I took time off from school, and now that I'm finishing, it's just like, it's the best feeling ever. Like it almost feels, in a way, it feels like a new chapter of my life is about to start.
Right.
And
it's worth it.
That's what's driving me right now. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I also wanted to mention, you guys mentioned it was my birthday the last show. Allison just turned 21, so happy belated birthday to Allison.
Thank
You
you.
feel any
25.
different?
What?
You feel any different now?
I bought alcohol legally.
Woo!
It
We
felt
love
good.
that.
There was even like a police, and like I look young, so like there was a police officer in the store that I bought the alcohol from. So I like looked right at him and I was like, here's my ID. It felt
Flex.
good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Happy birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
belated birthday, yes. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for, thank you again for listening to the Hot Mess Podcast. I'm your host, John Fay, with the co-host Allison Silabowski and Jordan Ezel. We will catch you on the next episode.
Bye guys.
See you later.